your children watch the Goonies?
Oh, yeah. They love the Goonies. Well, because of the pirates. You know, Goonies was the first thing that dealt with pirates. And, you know, you see how big pirates are. And so they, yeah, so my little son's, my twin boy, Nicholas, you know. And it's funny to see the, yeah, Goonies it's a classic. I've been in places with bigger movie stars in this country, and where they think they're getting sought after by a group of these college kids, and it's me, from Goonies. I mean, it's amazing where the really it's all over the place, no matter where you go. There's kids love. There's something, you know, parents, kids, and all those kids that were probably 11 and 9, watching it 4 or 5, 10 times their whole. You know, it's something that it hit up. It hit. It was. It touches on the. It touches on the. I think that whole thing is our time now, our time. You know, and the rich guys and the you know,
No parents.
no parents. So people relate to that. You know, it was like an our gang, modern day our gang. So anyway, so it's this moment when Joey's character lights the gasoline that he's put around there, and they spent the way it was scripted was a dollar bill was supposed to light on fire, and then the dollar bill he drops the money from the bank robbery that we had. A dollar bill he throws that onto the whatchamacallit. So I always felt in the back of my mind that moment. I said, well, that's going to be difficult to do it. I mean, because the bill and to land in there, it's going to float away. And they tried. So they were trying takes. And I said, you know what? Why doesn't he just pull out his gun? Or I said to my, actually, I said, why don't I just pull out my gun and, and well, he's trying to do that. But we wanted to give that moment to Joey since I had the escape. And then I also, coming in through the whole thing, there was a moment when the door is locked. Open the door, Francis. Well, that always happens in life. So I said, you know what? This moment always goes down like that. And I saw there was a hatch roof. I says, why don't we have that? He locks it just as I'm doing that, and I come in through the roof area. And they loved that. So that whole little sequence there, that was built around, yeah, I don't know if anybody will remember, but you can see, you know, I come up with interesting things. But that whole sequence was, not whole sequence, but shooting with the gun, and then the door thing, blah, 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 and coming in through the thing.
That's interesting.
But they were very open. So that's what's incredible. The other moment too is when Data. Remember we're climbing up the rocks. Now Data at a certain point is supposed to get rid of Jake Fratelli. Do something to make and I forgot how it was written, but it didn't seem like it would work really, because here's the kid. If he's there, I'm going to grab him. You know what I mean? If he's any in proximity, I'm, you know, more imposing. I said, well, here's a kid that has gimmicks. He's got gadgets all over himself. I says, what if just as I'm up there, he presses a button and that little boxing thing comes out. And they looked at each other. Steven Spielberg looked at whoever it was there and looked at it and said, you know what, let's do that. And they actually waited a day or two to have that built so we could shoot that. So they were really open to suggestions.
I can't believe that you came up with both these shots. We have some of the storyboards from a lot of these scenes, and those, at least especially the first one, isn't in that. It starts up with the police chase, and so I always thought, well, what kind of happened to some of these? So you kind of helped just build some of those.
Yeah, but that's nothing. The actors do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's just so
Yeah,
funny.
but no, actors, you have an idea, you're on the set. I mean, anyone, you know what I mean? You have to say, okay, well, what can I do here? And you come up with that kind of thing. It's like even when I come in with the Italian, I said, well, here were the Fratellis. Now these kids are here at the restaurant. Why don't I speak the mother tongue? And it becomes a little more bizarre for them, you know what I mean? And they were great. They were open to that. And so...
Well, did you have to teach Mama Fratelli Italian then for that?
Yeah, that's why it was, yes, zita, zita. Gave her something simple to say.
That's great. Okay. Now,
There was a time when we were supposed to be on set on a Will Notify. And they said, I said, well, Joey said, well, let's go. We can just drive around and with Ann Ramsey. I said, but Joe, we're going to check in. He says, they're never going to call us. So we drove 2 hours away or something like that, and all of a sudden there's a phone call, emergency. They need us back and right away. And I said, you see, Joey, because the weather had changed, and now we're speeding back, and there is a cop stops us. I'm driving, and I say, officer, we're doing a Steven Spielberg, Richard Donner film. It's called The Goonies. We just got a call. We're late. And Joey says, officer, don't believe him. He's instead of backing the play, Joey. But it was very funny. I was actually signed to do Rambo, too. I was supposed to go to Acapulco to do Rambo 2, and my agent called up and said, hey, you've got a call from Warner Brothers, Richard Donner, and they're doing the Spielberg, Richard Donner film, Goonies. They want to meet with you. I says, well, I'm doing Rambo. I'm leaving 3 weeks or a month. I said, and I was getting in shape. I was in great shape for this great character. And he says, well, you should go. What do you have to lose? He says, and also, this happens all the time, and they work out schedules. That film, Goonies, will be 5 months. They only need you for a month on the Rambo thing. We could work out dates. He says, go. So I went. And, of course, we get the offer. Now, I tried to call the production company, the Rambo production company, the agent, to try to work out the dates, and then I wound up calling Sylvester Stallone myself, who's since become a friend and stuff, and I knew him back then, and he wanted me to do the film, and I tried to call him, but they were in the jungles, and it was difficult to reach him, and I was talking through a third party, and the agent couldn't reach, and this and that, and then all of a sudden what happened was we got a phone call one day, and all I was saying was my responsibility is to the Rambo film. That was the first one. He says, I just want to see if the dates could be worked out. Warner Brothers, the production company. I said, I'll fly back and forth at my own expense. Can we work out the dates? A week goes by and we get a phone call one morning. My agent calls me up and says, you're released from Rambo. I go, okay, set the deal, because we had to set the deal, with the Goonies. That's 5 months, I suppose, and you're thinking, okay. And so we set the Goonie deal next minute. And then I get a phone call from the producers of Rambo. And then Sylvester Stallone calls up, who released Robert Davi from this movie. I rewrote the character for him and this and that. And it was, I felt really bad now. And then I said, but we would, it was nothing. Now I was in the middle of a thing.